Mm-hmm.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you who are virtually present here. I, Nashra Javed, Organizing Secretary, extend my thanks for joining us in this 3-day long International E-Symposium on recent advancements in information and communications technology, RAICT 2020, organized by the Department of Computer Application, Integral University, Lucknow, in association with the Indian Society for Technical Education, Indian Institute of Engineers, and technically co-sponsored by IEEE Uttar Pradesh section. Yesterday, we had a wonderful inaugural session, followed by the launch of RAICT 2020 e-souvenir. And in total, we have technical three sessions by the eminent speakers from the nation and abroad. Now, I would like to brief you through our today's schedule. We are having two YouTube live technical sessions and two oral presentation for abstract author through the Google Meet platform. Now, I feel honored to welcome our first speaker for RAICT Day 2 session, Dr. Abhishek Vaish from Indian Institute of Information Technology, Allahabad. Sir has been the gold medalist in his PhD degree from IIIT. He was working as an consultant with Wipro, Bangalore, and recently been nominated for Marquis Who's Who. He has served the Government of India on diplomatic mission as the head of Science and Technology Wing of Embassy of India, Moscow. So has published more than 50 scientific papers in international journals, conferences, plus book chapters. So has conferred as an academic advocate for Information Systems Audit and Control Association, USA. Dr. Abhishek Vaishnav has made international academic footprints, and some of the universities which he is working closely are State University of New York, Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology, University of Alberta, Scotland, University of Computer Studies, Yangon. So, is currently working on an Indian government project titled Disaster Management using Large-Scale Wireless Sensor Network, Department of Science and Technologies. Today, Dr. Abhishek Sir will discuss about cybersecurity, information security, and forensic science. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Nashra, for this warm introduction, and let me greet to all the audience who are live today, and they have taken out their time to hear my talk. I would first of all like to convey my gratitude to Integral University, Lucknow, for first of all creating such an opportunity where all of us can participate through this platform, and also that it's a very responsive decision to organize such an event, because the title itself is so self-explanatory, addressing the recent advancement in information and communication technology, and therefore it is a very well befitting event with the today's need. Our fellows, who are our research fellows, our budding engineers, the technocrats, whosoever is participating today in this particular event, and not today, in fact, yesterday and then today, the track of cybersecurity, and for tomorrow as well, they are going to really get a lot of knowledge, insight on what is happening, how things are changing. So, with that, first of all, my congratulations to the entire team of Integral University, and to the organizers, and to everyone who are part of this event. I have been requested to give a keynote speech on my area of cybersecurity, and it gives me immense pleasure to share with you my own thoughts. As a keynote speech, I would like to summarize and would like to give an overview on what is happening, how the trends are changing. Now, when this whole discussion started of inviting me, I mean, when I was talking to the head and the other things, and then they said, "Sir, we have the cybersecurity track, and we would like you to present." At that time, I started thinking of what should I bring, because cybersecurity is not the same anymore, which used to be 10 years ago. When I started my career way back in 2004 in this domain, at that time people were hardly understanding. I mean, that at that level, it was just a awareness issue. People were trying to understand so many different things. Even I would rather say that I am from the generation where people, it was a big challenge to make that people understand about any kind of cybercrime. Today, I'm glad that this generation is not going to face the same issue, because now every single individual in this planet is knowing that cybersecurity is something, or cybercrime, or whatever name you have to say, that when you are into cyberspace, there is something which can take away your sleep. And therefore they are mentally prepared that such phenomena exist in this planet. So it's a big change, I would rather say. And the change has gone to the level where, I mean, right from at that, when we started cybersecurity, it used to be just, I mean, people who were so called sophisticated, who were the scholars in this area, they were just trying to talk about the issues of how we can devise out technologies which can, help to scan system, could have a good judgment in terms of knowing whether your system is being infected, just to monitor the performance of the system. But gone are those days. It has actually evolved to such a big scale that those things have become obsolete altogether. And that is why this topic is very, very befitting. And that is why I opted to choose the title as Cybersecurity, the Changing Landscape and Research Opportunities. Uh, I have assumed that many of our participants today would be from research background, and therefore I have made this presentation with the two important consideration. One is that this can give some insight to the researchers, and the second is it can open the eyes of the knave who are going to see how this is going to change. So I'm going to the second slide. With the second slide, it is going to, the assumption of making the second slide was to give you a comparison of what is the difference between the traditional and recent. So if you look at those age when we were aspiring researchers, when we were professionals, when we were trying to solve the challenges of security, cyber security, at that time the word cyber security was not there. In fact, this is a very new phenomenon. And at that time, people used to talk about data security. People used to address this problem as information security. But people were not using the jargon so called cyber security. This is also very interesting of how these jargons were migrating from one stage to another. So if you look at the comparison between the traditional and the recent models, those were the days when computer system performance, virus spread, virus scanning, data stealing by USB drives, by floppy drives, crashing of the floppy, password cracking, launching of rootkits, IPR breaches, network sabotage, disruption of web servers. Those were the main kind of a thrust area where people were concerned about security. Majority of the corporate world were dealing, especially the financial institutions, they were concerned that their website should be secure, their website should be safe, and their website should not be hacked, their data should be saved. But those concerns are of less importance today, because now if you look at the technologies that are available, the security intelligence paradigm which is before the market, people are now less worried about such human centric attacks, because now it is all about artificial intelligence centric attacks. Now human intelligence is being replaced by machine intelligence, and the paradigm is so much changed that system people who are system the watchdogs of the security, people who are the devices that are sitting in the perimeter, even they are smart, very smart and very optimized, then too they at times they feel that they are totally compromised. In just 1 second they are going to be compromised. So this is a very very big challenge on how, what will be the future of cybersecurity. If this is going to continue, then what is going to be the future of cybersecurity? Now, one example that I would like to say, one biggest difference between the past and the new, from the psychological point of view, the motivation point of view, that earlier the breaches were mainly the people who were the so-called labeled as the bad guys. They were not that bad, because their definition for bad was just that they wanted their recognition. They were using it as a platform for their recognition. They were not having, very less of them were financially motivated. Majority of people who were in this trade from the dark side were their, if you read their motivation theory, you will find to understand that the majority of them were trying to show their skills. They were highly skilled, they were knowledgeable, and their concern was more towards getting their recognition. But now cybersecurity has become a $6 trillion economy. What does it mean? It simply means that it has become a market where your commodities can be traded off, a market where every single thing is saleable, a market where you can buy for your need. So it is a full supply chain model where there is a full economics involved, where supply and demand and supplies are matched, equilibriums are formed. There are actors who are selling their commodities, and commodities like bots are saleable. You can buy influential emails at a price of $10. You have heard of so many interesting stories where emails list database of emails has been hacked. All these have prices. Your laptop, if you are an influential person, then your laptop will be having lakhs of dollar, 100,000 of dollars value. If you are not a new known person, then your laptop, perhaps nobody is going to buy it. So if you see that when cybersecurity has reached to the level where it has become a $6 trillion economy, it means it is equivalent to the size of a market which COVID-19 is posing. There is a estimation that COVID-19 has created a $7 billion, and this is even bigger. So it is a $7 billion economy, and the cybersecurity has reached $6 trillion economy, which means this is the kind of economy approximately to the size of the Indian economy, a big size. This means people who are involved, they are earning a lot of money, and definitely it is not correct, and it is not legal in any ways. It is not correct, but wherever there is money, there is a element of risk, and where there is an element of anti-social elements, and it is very hard to stop. And so today the presentation is going to be dedicated on new sophisticated kind of attacks, where how easy and how smart it is to befool the system. So some of the examples of the recent times which is dominating the cybersecurity market is listed on your right side, and some of them I am going to read about: social engineering, deepfakes, DDoS interruption, cloud security, SCADA system, ML poisoning, and so on and so forth. And the construct of the presentation is designed in a way that we are going to take up each element, we are going to understand the magnitude of the problem, we are going to discuss some research challenges, and we will see what we can contribute. So, my dear friends, because we are in online mode, and in online mode, we have the one limitation is that we can't interact so dynamically the way we can do with a physical thing. Therefore, at any point in time, if you have any question, you can ask, or if there is a limitation to ask simultaneously, you can note down your question, and I'm going to address at the end of the presentation. So let us start with social engineering. What is social engineering? How big is this problem? And what is going to be at stake? Social engineering, when we talk about social engineering, basically we talk about how can we sabotage the trust model. Now, cybersecurity is going to the next level, and that next level is breaching the trust. Earlier, we used to breach the firewall, we used to breach the intrusion detection system, we used to compromise the network, we used to compromise systems. Now we are compromising trust, and that trust is lying at different level. So social engineering is one kind of attack vector which exploits the trust model, and typically these kind of attacks are called as socio technical attacks. And here we try to compromise by using sophisticated techniques. We exploit the system, we exploit the intelligence of human being, the intelligence of the system, and we try to maximize our gain. So if you look at this anatomy of the social engineering attack, you can see there are so many different elements, attributes which are forming the part of it. Social engineerings are done with the intention of financial goal. The mediums are enormous. If you see, social engineering is possible by means of email. People can, phishing is a good example where people try to send you fake emails, and they try to get the access. They try to breach your trust and gain your credentials. Face to face, many a times, yes, you might have seen so many science fiction and so many movies of especially James Bond and thriller movies, where you might have seen that people are changing their face. And this is true. This is not only a movie gimmick. This is there have been reports that people in Singapore are making. I was attending one Indo South Korean conference, and one scientist came to me and he said that in South Korea people are developing such an interesting what to say this skin transplant, this plastic surgery, that they can change the face of a person. And in such situation, your biometric technologies cannot do anything. Biometrics are hard to detect such change. They can construct your face with the latest laser face plastic surgery techniques. They are going to change your face. So this is again a big challenge. It can, impact the identity theft, and it can just compromise the system. People are using telephone many a times. I'm sure at least 20 to 25 times in my life I have in fact noticed many of people, they will call with selling insurance policy, and they will try to ask your credentials, credit card and credentials through IVR system. And if you don't understand these complications, you are gone. People are using SMS. There is a concept is known as smishing, where people are sending you link. If you click to that link, your system may be compromised. Paper mail, storage media, web pages, pamphlet. so many different. Now all these, what the whole idea of highlighting this medium is that every individual, you might be smart to understand the problem of email, but you may be smart to understand the face to face differentiation, but it is no guarantee, and the probability is so high that every individual in all these 8 9 mediums to launch a social engineering attack, one or two a person, every individual is susceptible to one or two element of it. So no one is foolproof, every single individual. So just imagine the magnitude of the problem. uh, yes, so other things, now techniques, mediums, the most dominating techniques are phishing, pretexting, and quid pro quo. There are many things evolving. In fact, sometimes I also feel that I'm still at learning stage where these jargons are evolving, and then you have to go into the detail to understand how things are happening. So I have created a kind of what to say, a platform for you to appreciate that social engineering, social technical attacks are very very critical. And the whole premise of this discussion was to take you further, where how social engineering are now changing. Now, with this, my next slide is going to talk about deepfake. Deepfake is again some kind of a social engineering problem, which is technologically sophisticated. The previous examples we have seen that you see the mediums were email and all. Now we are creating one more medium in the light of social media, and that medium is how machine learning can, use the potential of social engineering attacks and can create havoc. Now deepfake is a very interesting thing that one should understand and see this particular image of how beautifully we can combine the features of two different people. I'm sure when you will do Googling about deepfake, you will get so many interesting videos, and so easy there are softwares available. In just 1 second, you can just give the input of your voice and video, and you can just add your voice to my face, my voice, my face to your voice, or my voice to the voice of Mr. Obama, and whatnot. Now, this is a point I am going to tell you about. First of all, one very interesting news which has actually created a tremble effect in the cyberspace was use of this technology to create a scam that was worth more than 2.5 $243,000. Now, if you see this particular attack, the attackers, what they have done is they have actually created a mimic voice of the CEO of the company and compelled the finance manager of a different country to transfer this particular money. Now, this gentleman was totally clueless because the attackers sitting in Hong Kong, they created a fake video conferencing session. They added this particular person who was the CEO of the company sitting in some other country, and created a session where the finance teams were also involved, and human intelligence could not able to judge the fakeness of the voice of the CEO, and they just managed successfully to transfer this much of amount. Now, just imagine if this situation may come to any person, how are they going to react? You my if our intelligence is becoming limited from the context of this deepfake technologies, where face can be added to any one voice, and it is very hard to detect. You cannot detect even the lip movement, the lip lining, the facial expressions. There are interesting videos where you will see one science researcher has created an algorithm which can mimic his voice can be translated, his voice can be masked rather into the face of 6 different people. And real time. It's real time. So this is one interesting part of deep fake, which is just exploring in the cybersecurity domain. Though this is not purely classified. Now, this there could be one question of argument that whether we should consider it as a cybersecurity problem or a problem of image processing or video processing. Then scientifically this problem is a video processing problem or an image processing problem, or could be seen from the machine learning aspect also. However, this is this application of this knowledge base in the society is more on the cybersecurity side, because you see, this kind of a deep fake can create a problem to societal issues. For example, mind control technologies. This deepfake can be used in mind control technologies, especially in a democratic world where elections are happening. Just imagine the potential of havoc it can create to every individual. In fact, it can sabotage the entire resilience, societal resilience. It is the biggest challenge to any government policymakers, that how to detect these things. And therefore, in US in 2018, an act was enacted called as Malicious Deepfake Prohibition Act of 2018, which was addressing this particular issue. So from the application point of view, this application of this domain into the cybersecurity problem is very, very critical. People may use identity; it could be exploited to do identity theft, and can be used at a mass scale for disturbing the society. Back in 2018, researchers have found almost 15,000 deep fake video online. So just imagine, uh, in today's by in next 2 years, how much new videos might have added. And the technologies have no answer. If you run any machine learning technique to detect the features of a deepfake, it is not going to classify as deepfake, because the new deepfake are using technologies like GAN, generalized adversarial network, where the new features are altogether a new content. So it is a new content. The scientific problem here is that if you see these two photographs of two known people in the world, they, for human intelligence, they are identical. We can understand that the features are combined of someone else to someone else. But from the machine perspective, if you classify 100 images of one particular person, let's say A, and try to test it with the sample of B, then it is not going to classify anything, because it is a new content. That is the biggest challenge. That this is a scientific challenge, that the new content that you are creating by fusing the two features of two particular person is altogether a new thing. And new thing means you cannot classify in a class of A, or you are not going to classify it in class B. We are going to discuss more on such problems in later part of the presentation. So some of my scientific contribution in this, I see this problem as one potential solution is cognitive biometrics, where if face can be compromised, then we can take the brain signal. This is one scientific direction which has a potential solution. One of my PhD students had successfully defended, and I have quite a lot of paper in this direction. It is available in Google's Scholar. Some of my papers are listed here for your reference. You can have a look. The whole idea of this particular research was to use brain signal to create biometric solution. And what we have achieved here is that typically EEG devices, they take 14 channels of input, but we have managed to work with single channel, and therefore we have reduced the complexity drastically, and it was much optimized and can be integrated to less computational devices, your phones, and any places of authentication. Okay, so that was my now I am coming to the second problem, which is of equal scale and which is growing so fast, uh, especially in the light of COVID pandemic, that you will be amazed to see what is happening in DDoS disruption. DDoS disruption is a very interesting problem. In fact, it is not at all a problem. It is just a kind of a noise, technically, from signal processing perspective. DDoS is a legitimate traffic, but unsolicited traffic. Unwanted people may say something like, outside your lock, you have called 200 people are standing, mob is standing outside your door, and then the door is so jam packed that you, being a legitimate owner of the house, you are not able to enter. So there is no one is wrong, because they can say those mob, those 200 people who are standing outside your door, they are standing just saying that we are standing, it's our right, we can stand, we are not creating any nuisance to you. However, the most tricky part is that you, being a legitimate person, you are not going to access your facility. It has been found that DDoS attacks are actually has grown up 350%, and it is continuously growing. And most targeted sector is the educational sector. Many a times we all are knowing in this pandemic we are doing everything online. So the most sufferer in this case are the school going children. My kids, they often complain, then I'm not able to upload data, I'm not able to upload my content, my assignment, I'm not able to access, I'm not getting permission. All this is because of this gentleman, which is called as DDoS disruption. As I said, DDoS, the second problem of scientific problem of DDoS is it is very hard to backtrack. Now, people are sitting in different part of the world, and it is very easy to launch DDoS attack. You can just run a simple ping command to a one particular device from 200 different nodes. It is just ICMP command you are running, and the system will be flooded with unsolicited traffic. So this is pretty easy to execute and pretty hard to detect. You can, no matter, you can deploy many filtration techniques like the bandwidth, the frequency of the event, time window, whatever. But nevertheless, companies are actually, if you look at these things, it is costing companies a huge amount of money. To mitigate such attacks, companies are investing lakhs and lakhs of rupees, but still there is not a foolproof technology. We have done some research in this direction, which is again one of my recent publication, which is accepted in Elsevier. We have designed a hybrid system, a multi-phased hybrid detection system, and through that we have used a machine learning technique called as ensemble learning, and we have found that ensemble learning is very good in terms of detecting the features of DDoS attack. There are many interesting data sets available, and this in next month my research is going to be published, which will be accessible to all of you. The second research which we have done was detecting the traces, which is again not fully on DDoS, but a generic traces mathematical functions we have proposed in this particular paper, which could help the system at the perimeter level to detect certain types of attacks. As we all know, that the third prominent problem in today's world is okay. One thing that I've missed about telling in DOS, and how DOS is classified as cybersecurity problem, because now imagine that the entire world is now connected to by internet and IoT devices. DOS can pose a serious threat to critical security. For example, if you have heard about the Stuxnet problem. Stuxnet was a malware infection problem, but imagine you are sitting in a critical infrastructure, and you can launch You can, by launching DDoS attack, you can make your railways shut down, you can make your airliners shut down, and many things. So it is a problem of larger magnitude, and that is why it should be classified as a cybersecurity problem. Coming to cloud security, we all know that cloud has given a very, very big edge to business organizations. Cloud is just like a hotel service, and the biggest beneficiaries of cloud technologies is the business house, because business house has to suffer a lot when they have to create their data centers. And they have to not only have to invest in buying technologies, but there is a huge pressure to them in terms of bringing compliances, certifications, upgradations, troubleshooting, management, a full dedicated team, security of data, a hell lot of a thing. And therefore cloud security is basically an answer to everything. And a simple analogy can be understood by cloud is that you are a traveler and you are traveling the whole world for your business. And it is like you have to create your house everywhere. It is not financially justified. You cannot create your house, but the rather a good model would be to go to the hotel. In fact, now if you look at, people are going to Airbnb, Oyo, and so on and so forth. In fact, cost is cutting down. It is just about cloud housing, from hotel to much even cheaper things. Same is like with cloud. You have a central service, you will have a dedicated space, you can push your data to that space and you can work from there. However, cloud is posing a big security threat, cybersecurity problem. Very recent problem was called as cloud snooper attack, a kind of a malware, a rootkit, in fact, which was targeted to Amazon AWS services. Uh, yes, AWS firewall controls, bypassing the firewall controls. And the malwares were designed in such a way that they were masked with a legitimate traffic or HTTP. So, especially attackers, they have the strategy of masking uh, your legitimate traffic into HTTP, and they bypass the system. So this particular system was compromised, and whatever benefit they were about to take, they have taken with cloud. So some of the problem with the cloud, scientific challenges with cloud is account hijacking. Authentication is one of the biggest concern. People, the attackers, they try to get credentials, API credentials, by all these open source technologies available, and they compromise the system, and thereafter they use these systems as a platform. Majority of people are using cloud technology not to hack cloud, but rather to use the platform, use the resources of that particular technology. And especially people are using cloud technology for crypto mining, because it requires a lot of resources, and therefore they are using for free of charge services of cloud to do. The second problem is server side request forgery. Here it is a web based services where people try to bypass the system by triggering some sort of attack. Brute force and access as a service. Brute force is again a biggest problem of cracking the credentials of the cloud and gain access. So some of my research in these areas are listed here, and we are not going to highlight because of paucity of time. So cloud is again a good direction where we can think of working. Now I'm coming to perhaps the last part of my presentation, which is very interesting to understand how AI and cybersecurity is going together. This is one very, very niche area. Definitely, I'm not touching blockchain because I have limitation, and in that limitation, I'm all those areas where we have contributed. I am touching those areas. AI and cybersecurity is a very deadly combination. Uh, there are two pathway which is taking this sphere. One, using AI for cybersecurity breach, and then compromising the machine learning itself, which is called as ML poisoning. So AI is being used in two different way. One is people are using AI techniques to compromise the system. For example, GAN, generalized adversarial network. People are using. I'll give you some examples of this technique on how it works. So if you see this particular model, people are using techniques like data poisoning, ML poisoning, GAN, etc., and they are training the network altogether with a new traffic patterns, which is a new, ultimately new, and can compromise the system. The second model is positioning the ML model itself. And on the right side of the graph, you can see a simple SVM classifier model where the decision boundary tree has been, in one case, if you see, in one case, the input has been manipulated, and instead of classified as an orange ball, input level positioning has classified ball as red. And on the right side of the classification, you see the decision boundary, where the hyperplane itself, we have changed the what to say, the hyperplane boundary we have changed, and therefore the classification model itself is changed. This is where, when you train your data with a malignant data set, your hyperplane boundary, your decision classification boundary is going to be changed, which will impact the result drastically. So this is where people are using some examples before you, where how AI technology is impacting the cybersecurity issues. Other domain includes governance, risk, compliance. People are talking about different models, especially in Europe. There is a law enacted which is called as GDPR, Global Data Protection Regulation Act. Especially in the light of cloud, people have changed this and have created a new act which has given a thrust to privacy, and compliance of this law is a big concern to Europe Union, and therefore people are developing compliance framework, people are developing risk management frameworks on how to estimate the risk. Digital forensics is again one challenge, is how to do a digital forensics of deepfake. You can develop new techniques to detect, do a forensics examination of deepfake. Security of critical infrastructure. People are doing a lot of stuff in SCADA security, critical security. When we talk about critical infrastructure, we talk about big plants like nuclear power plant, energy, railways, where people are using PLC controllers, and they SCADA. It is called as SCADA systems. And the security of SCADA system is very, very niche area, because nothing much has been done. And I would request if you can read the uh, Stuxnet attack, on how Stuxnet attack were actually dominated. And if you see Stuxnet attack in very short, it was impacting the centrifuge rate. The frequency of the centrifuge was going up and down. So when a malware was installed, which actually reduces the speed of the centrifuge at one point, and after some seconds, minutes, it can increase the spinning rate of the centrifuge. And the ultimate problem of this increasing and reducing the centrifuge was that the entire your dome of the new enrichment plant may release such a high level of energy that it can explode. So that was a very, very critical issue. Social technical issues of cyber security is again a hot topic. People are working, especially in the light of social media. People are talking about misinformation classification, hate speech. People are using social media for their own motives, and those motives are actually impacting the peace and stability of the country or in the entire world. People are using this media, so filtering hate speech, filtering. We are doing, one of my MTech student is doing his MTech thesis in this area of using natural language processing to classify. We are developing multimodal system because one parameter is not going to give you effective result. So we are combining image and text and to understand whether we can do anything in this area or not. So I think I have crossed my limit of time, and this often is becomes a problem with people in our fraternity. So now I would just want to take. I want to end up my presentation here, and I would like to take questions if you have any.
Thank you, sir, for such an informative session on cybersecurity. Our viewers will definitely benefit the information and facts shared by you. Thank you so much once again.
So is there any question?
So, let me check whether we have a question in the chat section. Not yet, sir. So you
Okay.
can share your email ID so that any viewer or any participant can contact you.
Ah, yes, that's a good idea, Abhishek.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Well, there is an opportunity at our university. We are having winter internship school, which is going to start from 20th of November. The registrations are open, and those of you who can, especially at undergraduate level, if you want to do a winter internship program, it's a very nominal fee. It's a 6 to 8 weeks of program. You can choose your mentor. You can, if you are interested in cybersecurity, you can go through my profile. You have heard me. You can write to me. The process is you can write to me with your idea. You can take my consent, and then you can enroll for winter internship, where you will get winter internship certificate. So I wish you all a great success. I wish all the organizer once again a very fruitful day ahead, and all the best to the entire team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Any of the viewer, if you want to contact Dr. Abhishek, sir, can contact him on the email ID abhishek@iita.ec.in. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence. Now, we will be having the next session starting at 2 p.m. by one of the renowned speaker, Dr. Saurabh Shukla from Data Science Institute, Ireland. Link for the next session is available in the chat section, and I request the viewers to patiently stay connected with the same enthusiasm. Meanwhile, we are having the oral presentation sessions going on to the Google Meet platform for our abstract authors. Thank you, and I sign off. Thank you so much, Abhishek sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nashra.